who is a fabulous storyteller, who also signed up for our class, and is so talented when it comes to being able to speak on her struggle, and furthermore, being able to talk about like the lessons she's learned. And I really love Yevgeniya as a storyteller. So, Yevgeniya!
Goldilocks, like it's like too small, too big. I'll tell you guys a secret. The hardest part about being up here for me is like after the story is done, getting down those steps, because like my legs are like, anyways, this is a story about rejection, obviously. This is also a story about being a badass. And I normally tell these really depressing stories, but today I kind of need to remind myself that I'm a badass.
Woo! Woo!
Get it! So when I was in high school, a long time ago, sophomore year of high school, I decided I am ready to study abroad. You know, most people are like in college, grad school. I'm like, please, I'm 16, I'm ready. So I signed up with this organization called, I think, Nacelle. I haven't thought of that name for a long time, I think that's what it was called, to go to Spain. And I was excited. I'm like, I'm gonna stay with a host family. I don't know anything. I get to practice my Spanish. My Spanish was horrible, but it's gonna be like amazing. You know, like Spanish guys, like, I don't know, I was very excited. And summer comes along, it's time to go on this trip. I pack, I go to the airport, my friend Asumi was going also, but to a different part of Spain. And, you know, we're at the airport, there's just a few people coming from the Detroit airport, and then we were gonna go to thank you, I actually really appreciate that.
Wow. Hey.
And then we were going to JFK. So going from Detroit to JFK was very easy. Driver's license, I'm 16, I've got a great driver's license. Then we get to JFK, and there's like so many kids, like all these kids with parents that can afford sending them to study abroad. Like very fortunate group of young people. And we get in line, okay, let's get on that plane, let's go to Spain, like Madrid, here I come. So I get up to the lady at the front, and I think, you know where this is going, this is the rejection part. I hand her my passport, and she looks at it, and she just gets this like look on her face, like everything's wrong. And she's like, this is expired. I was like, and then where's your visa? And I'm just like, what? Like, this isn't my first time traveling abroad. Like, I went to Israel the summer before with my grandparents. I'm giving her the same document. Apparently, I didn't have a US passport yet, because I was born in Russia, so like came as a refugee, then like green card. But every document I was handing her was not a US passport. It was like a refugee travel document. So there's of course a coordinator running around trying to like figure things out for us, and he's like blah, 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 on the phone, like can't get anything done. Like, I'm not getting on this flight to Madrid. Thank God, I have family in New York. And my mom's first cousin, which I still don't understand what it makes him to me, but he picked me up from the airport, and like, you know, I just, like, I wasn't like sad. I'm like, I'm going to Spain. Like, it may not be like at this moment, but I'm going to Spain, and I'm not going to Spain like years from now. Like, I'm going to meet my host family that's waiting for me in Spain. So I remember he took me out to like lobster dinner, and I'm like, this is like, I don't know what he does, you know, like Russian people, you know, I don't really know. But it was like very exciting to be in New York. And then the next day, I went to his office with him, and I just got on the phone. And I was like, how do I get what I need to get to Spain? And my parents had naturalized already. Like, they just didn't get around to like, I don't know, whatever. Like, when your parents naturalize, you're younger than 18. By default, you're a citizen, but you need like paperwork, which I didn't have. So I'm like calling places, getting like 10 different opinions. One of them sounded decent. It involved getting in a car and going to Stamford, Connecticut, which is where the US passport office is. And I obviously needed documents to show that my parents had naturalized. So this gets even better. My parents send these documents to me like overnight. My mother's first cousin, whatever he's to me, gets me car service to go to Stamford, Connecticut. And I am like the first one in line. Like, I don't remember what I was reading, but I had like this thick book. And it was early. It was so early. Let me just tell you how inadequate these documents are in this envelope. First of all, I have my mother's maiden name, Gazman. My mother thought it would be a great idea to take her husband's name right around the time she naturalized. So now I have 2 naturalization certificates with people's last names that are not mine. And my parents didn't think I was old enough yet to tell me that he's not my father. So there's no birth certificate in this envelope. So I am 16 years old, waiting in line, and there's a person who's doing basically triage to like decide who's gonna get to like go up to the window and talk to the wizard. And he's like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 16. Like, he's like, well, you're a minor, you need your parents here. I'm like, no, I just need to talk to that person, I just have a question. And like, I wasn't going anywhere. So, get to the window, and the guy's like, okay, that's fine, you got the naturalizations, we need a birth certificate. I'm like, oh, well, these are my parents. He's like, how do we know these are your parents? Well, when you go to study abroad, you know, they tell you to bring a photo album to like show your host family what your life was like in America. So I'm like, I have a photo album. I show this person a photo album that these are my parents, which one of them is not. I just don't know it yet for a few more months of my life.
Wow.
Wow. So anyways, so they gather the stuff and they're like, come back in the afternoon. And I go walk around Stamford, Connecticut. They have all these like little statues. I go to the mall. Let me tell you, when I came back to that like window, wherever it was, and I held my US passport that I got as a minor without a birth certificate, clearly September 11th had not yet happened. I was like, I just like, anything was possible. And like the next day, I was on a fucking plane to Madrid, and I met my host family, and I ate calamari for the first time, and I had the time of my life, because I am a badass.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yevgeniya. We are down to our